It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
The average attention span is 47 seconds and people are doing all sorts to get noticed. People are very quick to be not so nice to people and hide behind the computer. But again, I think you've just got to truly believe in what you're doing, be true to yourself.
And that is Marta Nelson on the Real Estate Breakfast as we continue with our non-stop marathon of 2025, suburb by suburb, and breaking down the numbers and the trends for the Australian real estate market. Up to a Tuesday, October the 14th. Yes, I am slowly but surely getting over the COVID, so thanks for some of those emails that have come through. And you can leave a voice message with us now. The link is below. It's super easy. Press the link and start talking. Or if you'd like to send us an email, of course, that email address is myrealestatepodcast@gmail.com. Now, to inspire first home buyers, NAB has unveiled the top 10 postcodes across Australia where you can still find homes for under 650 grand, all offering strong transport links and great lifestyle amenities. So the list is in Melbourne's west, Hoppers Crossing. We've got Craigieburn in Melbourne's north, Toowoomba, regional Queensland, Wynnum Vale, Manor Lakes in Melbourne's west, Melton South and Weir Views in Melbourne's west, Werribee, Point Cook, also in Melbourne's west, Mackay, North Queensland, Ballarat, regional Victoria, and we've also got Mandurah, Meadow Springs in Western Australia, and Gladstone in Queensland. So there you go. There's a handful of postcodes that you can still buy for under $650,000 as we catch up again with Marta Nelson from Marta Nelson Property in Melbourne. And a very good morning to you, Marta. Welcome to the Real Estate Breakfast. Good to know, in Melbourne you can still buy at that price point.
Good morning, Craig. Thanks so much for having me today. Yes, it's interesting to hear all those suburbs.
And you were telling me that you've been involved in the real estate industry for just 4 short years. So got to ask the question, what made you want to become a real estate agent?
Very good question. To be honest, I never ever considered the career. I think for obvious reasons, there's quite a bit of a stigma, unfortunately. And I was quite comfortable in my previous career in the kitchen appliance space within national sales roles for global and Australian companies. A decision I made after having moved to the Mornington Peninsula before COVID.
What happened? You had this epiphany that, hey, I don't want to do too much drive time. You wanted to cut back on that. And you sort of bit the bullet, because if you're in a national sales role, you know how the sales and the selling operates, but presumably you're probably on a package where it's a salary. It's not a commission-only structure. So there's quite an attitudinal change that you've got to bring to the table with that.
Absolutely. I think that having moved to the peninsula, connecting with some people there, suggesting I get into real estate is what sort of spurred the idea. And the day it took me 2 hours and 44 minutes to get home from South Melbourne, I thought, that's it. I've got to give this a go. I had a young baby. To be honest, the first 6 months were not ideal. And I thought, if this is what real estate's about, I might go back to my corporate career. However, people convinced me that there's other ways to do it. I ended up joining a great network where we all work together to find buyers. They support us in the back end with everything to do with administration, legal, marketing, etc.
Yeah, so 4 years in, but you haven't sort of just gone in as a salesperson working for a company. You decided to, launch your own company, real estate company.
Yeah, so I was with one company on the peninsula for 6 months and then moved to the agent's agency within another business for a couple of years. We decided to come back to Q East and where we grew up and Darwin. And I thought, why not launch my own business? I want to do it my way.
Yeah, no, all credit to you. And the negativities, they are out there. In fact, they're in plain sight to see what some of the industry is doing. that can be a major turn-off. It's one of those things where sometimes you've just got to just ignore that and say, as you just did, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to not be distracted. Social media is really bad for that because you can get sucked into the rabbit warren of all those different tunnels. People seem to be doing far better than me, and it's a huge distraction, and it can also sort of play tricks with, I guess, your mind when it comes to being successful within the industry. Is that fair?
Absolutely right, Craig. You've got to stay focused and believe in what you're doing. You really shouldn't have a plan B. If you are committing to real estate, you've got to be all in.
And I should say that Andy Warhol, he said all those years ago, everybody in the future is going to have their 15 minutes of fame. Problem is, these days, everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame every day. It's on a loop. Look at me, look at me. Oh, maybe we're part of that because we're a daily podcast.
It is the way we live in a very fast-paced world. People have a short attention span. We had a big conference with our network recently. The average attention span is 47 seconds, and people are doing all sorts to get noticed. People are very quick to be not so nice to people and hide behind the computer. But again, I think you've just got to truly believe in what you're doing, be true to yourself. And let's face it, if you want to be in real estate, it should really be a genuine care about your clients, not about the showmanship, not about it being transactional.
Last week, of course, we were talking a lot about the first home guarantee scheme. You would be expecting to see a bit of a rush on between now and Christmas time with those first home buyers.
Absolutely. And going back to what you touched on at the start about so many Melbourne suburbs being affordable, we've had land tax, we've had increased Airbnb tax. So many homes have come up for sale and taken quite some time on the peninsula, unfortunately, which is hard to see. However, Melbourne is expected to lead Australia's property growth in 2026. House prices are projected to rise around 6.6%.
All right, it is a Tuesday morning. We're talking to Marta Nelson, and she is in Melbourne. We'll come back with more after this.
Unlock the secrets of real estate and stay informed about the latest real estate buzz with hot market trends, emerging suburbs, and hidden gems.
The contestants, I heard, are facing more than just renovation challenges. They're saying that Daylesford's median house price falling 6.3% to $820,000. They say that for this year's contestants, they will need sharp selling strategies to stand out. What do you say?
Look, I don't disagree with that. I mean, the numbers don't lie. But in terms of the buyers that we've got coming around, I think the one thing that the block houses have in their favour is that we are seeing that houses which are fully complete, which are new, which meet the current building standards in terms of the energy ratings, they are more desirable than the ones that need fixing up, just because the cost of building has increased substantially in the last few years. So I think the block houses really have that in their favour last year because it's not a relocated home, it's a brand new home. Part of their design guidelines is that all the houses there do need to be new. So the block, when they did their builds and their designs, had to adhere to that. I think that's one of the reasons why they had to do it that way this year. But it's so nice to see them doing something differently. So I think it's going to be a great experience.
What about you, Ashley? What do you think?
I think it's fantastic. You know, our region doesn't have a lot of newly built homes, and so this brings something new. And when you're talking about the medium house pricing that Domain has discussed this morning, yes, we do have different pricing across our region, but we also have a lot of different properties. So new builds is something that we've only just seen across our region in the last 2 years. And like Natalie was saying, in the Middleton Field project, you know, there's over 68 land lots there, which are all going to be brand new builds. And so we feel like it's going to really make a difference.
Listen to expert perspectives with exclusive real estate conversations and supercharge your knowledge base with us.
And it's a Real Estate Tuesday. Marta is with us. And I just want to come back to the younger version of yourself, Marta, because we do have this association. We're always talking talking about Dubai and why Australians, and so many of them, are leaving Australia and heading off to Dubai to live. So you were telling me that you were a flight attendant and operating for Emirate. So tell us a little bit about living in Dubai all those years ago. And I don't know if you've been back recently, but the transformation of Dubai has been quite spectacular.
Back in 2002, the minimum age to join Emirates was 22. I applied, within a month, moved to Dubai. My father lives in Poland and actually had his own real estate business, so he's quite chuffed that I've finally taken the same path. I was really always having travelled back and forth from Poland, the emotion of seeing people at the airport or on a plane. I love the excitement of it. I was there for only 2 years, around 23 years ago, to work amongst all these different cultures, incredible people that I lived with, worked with, all different nationalities from all walks of life. And that really is what set the path for me in terms of knowing that I love to work with people. You've got to be patient if you're stuck in a can with hundreds of people at all sorts of hours. So, you have to be patient and passionate, and that definitely helps in real estate.
Do you understand why the allure to Dubai is there for Australians to move and live there?
Absolutely. I think being tax-free, it's new, so much there on offer. People have really built big family lives there. I've got girlfriends that still live there for over 20 years that are from Brisbane or Sicily. They're bringing up their children there, so I can see the appeal. I think for me personally, coming from Poland, I didn't want to be long, to be honest. So I gave it a couple of years, then came back and flew for Virgin Australia for 3 years, and then got into the corporate world.
Yeah, see, that's all very, very transferable. Just in terms of Emirates, it was last year we were talking to another flight attendant, and she lives in Dubai. I forget what nationality she is. She was saying, just from a safety point of view, Dubai offers safety like no other city in the world. If she can't sleep, she can go for a run at 3 o'clock in the morning outside. The safety, that Dubai offers is pretty much unprecedented, I think.
It is, and it's safe and it's warm, so you can definitely go running at 3 a.m. I found that Emirates crew are really, really well looked after. They really treat you like family. You're quite protected. Within reason, you have to abide by rules and respect culture.
Marta, great to catch up and talk to you this morning on the Real Estate Breakfast. It sounds like all of the conversations that you were able to have back in the day when you were working for Emirates, a flight attendant really knows how to engage with people, and you're able to do that in real estate. So all credit to you.
Thank you very much, Craig. Thanks for having me, and speak soon.
We dive deep into topics like buying, selling, investing, and maximising your property's value, from mortgage advice to the latest property data and trending numbers. Your real estate journey starts here.
And what it suggests to me is that you've got this backlog of buyers that have just been waiting for this scheme to start. We are basically injecting a flood of new buyers into a market that already has way too many buyers and historically low stock levels still.
Yes, and if you have a look at those new price caps right across the country, where you were saving for 20%, it was taking you 6 years. Now with the 5% deposit, 1 year, 7 months, you're saving 4.5 years. I mean, that is massive.
Yeah, absolutely. We're creating buyers from thin air, essentially. These are buyers that previously couldn't afford to buy. So for reference, a balanced market here is maybe about 15,000 properties on the market. When the market sort of tapered a little bit late last year and things sort of slowed down to a degree, it was still very much a seller's market. I think we're down at around 2,800 properties available on the market. And given how few suburbs that we have on our approved list for investors especially, it does make it very slim pickings for anyone who's looking to get into the market.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.